Meeting, Port of Sistock Commission, Wednesday, March 20th. We have all the commissioners present. If you haven't signed up to speak, or this is now is the time for public comment, anybody who'd like to speak is welcome to.
That would be Jeff is the only one on the list.
I'm gonna wait till the end, after you've gone through everything, to make sure I'm not stepping on the bounds.
Nothing from the City of Florence officer. We have approval of minutes by consent. Is there any issues with the minutes?
Look good to me.
Nothing said, they'll be approved by consent. Approval of the financials, we'll have a presentation from Kelly.
So the bills paid for February were $214,729.95. And the majority of that was paying off the bills for the zero erosion that was finished up. Have not received all the FEMA or the Business Oregon funds back on that yet. I should be getting that probably the end of this week or by next week, I'm thinking at the latest.
But as long as you know there's no problems, that it's in the pipeline.
Uh-huh, it is.
Okay.
But is zero paid in full then?
Except for, I think they still have some planting of vegetation to do. Everything else is paid. So, and I don't know what that's gonna come to as far as the prices for having that done.
So when they plant, they give us a bill, then we submit that.
Yeah, and I was told it was gonna be around $2,000. The watershed's gonna do it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Then we have the occupancy report in the campground was up 6% year-to-date, and mortgage is down the 2% year-to-date. We've had quite a few more campers over the winter time than normal.
Oh, that's good. That's because Southern California feels like Oregon this winter.
And that's all I have.
Hearing the question from Jeff Hale, are you able to answer that for us, Kelly?
I tried to answer it the best I could. It does come off of a report that I get from Hercules. And it's the year-to-date amount. And then I showed him where the dollar amount, like under the campground and the mortgage, and that's from the fiscal year July to now, or to February, ending February, that would be the dollar amount.
Kelly, when did we transfer our accounts from Banner to Umpqua? What month was that? Was that February?
February, I believe.
So
And everything is closed now as of yesterday. We're done.
So if we look at interest income, which we didn't budget for, the result of us transferring from Banner went from $72.10 to $1,926.
Yeah, I think we
Is
got
that the result?
we got $1,800 in interest from the MMA account from Umpqua.
Okay, but that probably wasn't a full month, or was it?
That would be for February.
Okay, but we transferred in February, right? So it may not be for a full month? Okay, but the bottom line is that 1,900 is the difference between $72 and $1,900 is what we're getting from Umpqua now.
Correct.
Boy, that's substantial, that's a good point to make. Look at $70, $58, $61 for the previous month.
Well, that's why we went to 2.5%.
It's actually 2.35.
Yeah,
now.
3.5 it went.
Wow. Any questions for Kelly? Hearing none. We have a presentation by Dean Lundy for the Sea Scouts.
Are the financials approved then? Everything is approved?
Pardon?
You
Is
approve
it
the financials?
Approving the financials?
If we need a motion,
We already
Mr.
approved the,
we
They
approve the
just
minutes.
need to be approved by consent if there's nothing that needs to be fixed or changed.
and that's how I understood it.
Okay, I just didn't hear you say they were approved.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, good.
That's what I meant. I meant to say, but thank you. Dean, you have a presentation for us for the Sea
Yes.
Scouts?
Yes,
Go ahead,
indeed.
come on up.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dean Lundy. I don't know everybody, but you've probably seen me around. It's hard to hide when you drive a yellow school bus and things. These are pictures of Sea Scouts. My thing that's most dear to my heart is Sea Scouts. I just barrage you with pictures.
Sure.
This is the base next door. This is the type of boat. Oh, this was my jersey when I was 13 years old in San Francisco on the Portsmouth. My skipper was Glenn Birch, who was I was an ordinary, which is big juju, I guess. I don't know. I don't know much about the ranks and stuff. My Sea Scout skipper was Glenn Birch, who was a graduate of the Maritime Academy, which is for, it's like part of the state college system, but it's for the Merchant Marine at Benicia on the Carquinez Straits, a very dangerous straits where the confluence of the San Joaquin River that used to run and the Sacramento River that used to run comes into the San Francisco Bay there. CNH Sugars there, big channel. Anyway, Glenn Birch was our skipper. We had many different skippers that were all famous. That was the type of boat that I sailed on. That isn't my boat. That's the Corsair. She's a catch also. Our boat was not quite that sharp. Ours was a little what they called appled in the bow, but it was a beautiful, beautiful wood boat. We sailed these boats on the bay, open boats, no engines, pulled an oar. That's how I grew up. I've been working with, first let me introduce my good best friend. This is Ed Dietz, who I hate to even introduce because he's the best architect in town. He's the guy. We've been working on ADUs since they passed that Senate Bill 1051. We actually have the permit to build one up on Tamarack. And Betty. This is Betty Snow. And if you guys don't know her, when I first came to Florence, when I wanted to retire, I looked from Coos Bay to Lincoln City for 2 pilings in the bay. I was done in. I was a fireman for 32 years in San Francisco. So the Sea Scouts is the way, a lot of the guys I worked with, lieutenants and stuff, they weren't these silver spoon guys. These guys came up the hose pipe. And they had turned out to be Sea Scouts. So it's good training for young people to work in teams, the interdependency and stuff. Well, anyway, I came to Cushman. The only place I could buy was Cushman, which is on the upriver side of the railroad bridge there. And it was a slimy mess. I didn't steal it. It had been for sale for 10 years. Well, I got it, and the pilings, that was going to be the Sea Scout base, but it's too dangerous for kids. It's 35 feet deep. It's on the outside of the river, and you get swept right into that coffin corner, which is Susie's. All those deadheads, and it's just a horrible place. The original owners, and I found this out through Mark Brennan when he worked at the Sayuslaw Pioneer Museum. The original owners, and the owner and his son, Grant Osford and his son, both drowned there. Both the father son drowned there in 1923. Betty saw the picture. Anyway, so I bought the property knowing this is going to be a nightmare to put pilings back in that thing. Well, I met Betty 2 years before I came back here. I met Betty Snow. She worked for HDB Marine with Hank Terpsma, the pile driver, when they were on the Wilbur Island there on that office trailer. I went in the trailer. I said, "My name's Dean Lundy. I'm going to buy a piece of property on the water. Maybe I'm going to be talking to you guys." I hadn't even found Cushman. Hank Terpsma goes, "You'll never get anything done on this river," because he knew it was really hard. And Betty, on the other hand, was on the other end. She said, we'll help you with your permits and stuff. Well, I bought Cushman. It took 4 years, but she got permits through five agencies. The Coho, the Indians, all these agents. You know what it's like to work on the water. It takes a lot of things. She got it done where nobody, a regular guy couldn't get it done. So anyway, Betty was responsible for that. She knew how much I believed in the Sea Scouts. But it was too dangerous. So then I bought that shack. I've been cleaning up the town. I really did earn kind of my salt around here. I bought the ugliest places in this area. On Oak Street over here, I bought the Zombie, and that was an ugly abandoned wreck, and painted it white. That's where I live now on Oak. Then I bought this. Then I bought that roundhouse where some wonderful people live. I paid $230,000 for a house no bigger than a school bus, and I thought, what have I done? But it turned out to be the real deal because it's with the ADU stuff. It's all about curb cuts and alleys and stuff. Anyway, so then I came into an inheritance. That's how I bought the property next door. If you guys, I was gonna ask you guys, I didn't know if you're filming this, I was gonna ask you guys if you wanted, like Perry Mason, if you wanted to adjourn and go to the scene of the crime. The Sea Scout base is next door. I bought the old Naslund building for cash on a 1031 exchange. I bought the wacky, I bought Barefoot Dave, lived in the Pirate Popcorn Wacky Taffy.
Hey, Dave, or Dean, excuse me. We have a time limit here, but.
Oh, yeah. No,
what?
what-
To your point, if you
What
have
I'm,
a
what I'm,
question for us.
well, all I'm asking you guys for is your blessing. You know, I don't need the money. We had a dance next door. I'm hoping, what do you call it? Your harbor master showed me this was the dance we had next door. It's a perfect spot for the Sea Scouts. I would like, well, I'm putting it together. I've been working on this 15 years maybe. I've been working with the Boy Scouts of America for a full year, and it's been a nightmare, the paperwork. All I want from you guys with the port is your blessing that the Sea Scouts is worth our efforts. This has been a lot of work, and I'll put in as much work as it takes. Betty will tell you, I don't care what it takes. But there have to be 2 adults now at all times around the kids. We don't want any bad experiences with the kids. The Sea Scouts now, it wasn't when I grew up. When I grew up, the Sea Scouts was, the Sea Scouts were.
What are we
were-
looking for?
Yeah.
What are you asking for here?
Oh, well,
Yeah,
well, I.
we don't understand what's happening
Yeah,
here.
well, I'm asking for a screaming deal on renting the slips for our boats and, you know, wherever you guys want to put us. But the second
For
thing.
what boats?
For the Sea Scout ships. See, it's a Sea Scout ship, you have boats. It's like the Boy Scouts.
No, I understand that, but what do the boats look like? We gotta know.
Well, we have 2 right now. We've got a Columbia 23.
I see that, the sailboat right there.
That was, yeah, here, and we have the Carolina Skiff, which is a very safe skiff. It was Coast Guard Strike Team 10 skiff.
How long was that? Help us out here, 'cause-
Well, the Columbia is the 23.
Yeah, you mentioned
and-
that, but what about the skiff?
The skiff is 17, but what I'm really after is, Dave showed me I mean, it's what I'm after is an actual ship. What I'm looking at is putting a real ship on the dock near a training ship. I can get these ships. This is what we're talking about. This is a 101-foot Navy tug that's up in Anacortes. They want $150,000 for. The reason it didn't go to Korea is nobody knows how to run it. I was a rigger. I
They're
didn't
gonna
say
go to
that.
North Korea, 'cause they don't wanna send it to them.
Well, anyway, I was a Sea Scout as a kid for 4 years, and then I was a rigger in the shipyards for 8 years. And I got all 10 fingers, so, you know, and most of my friends ship out. And then I was a fireman for 32 years, a truckman mostly.
Yeah, we understand that, but
So-
what are you asking for?
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking for like $1 a foot for whatever, I will show the insurance, complete insurance with the port as co-insured with the oil, you know, with all the insurance needed, $1 million and stuff. I'm looking for, I mean, I can afford it, but I'm paying so many bills in this town. I'm looking for a screaming deal on renting docks. We don't have to decide right now. I just wanted to introduce myself and tell you what I was about. I'm looking for a screaming deal on the docks. Yeah, go ahead. You're Kirby from the I'm sorry.
No,
Oh.
no, that's all right.
What's your name?
Bill,
Yeah, okay.
there's my name.
Oh, okay.
You're working with Boy Scouts of America, you're already signed up, this is.
No.
Okay.
No, I've been working with the Greenville, Oregon Trail Council of the Boy Scouts of America for a year.
Okay.
I've
No,
turned in all this
no,
stuff.
no,
I'm 2 minutes from
quick
getting the
answer.
number. Then I'm gonna tie in with
No.
the Portland group. They have 8 ships.
No, I've got a number of questions, I just need.
Okay, yeah.
So the answer is no, right now you're not set up with the boat, but you're working on it. That's the short answer. Have you assembled a group of interested young people yet, or?
Yeah, I have
identified?
7 adults and 6 kids, all signed up, all the paperwork's up there. But I haven't gotten much help from the Boy Scouts. They've got the
Okay,
campsite.
that's another-
I'm gonna tie in when I get the number. The number is going to be 228 because it's 228 Harbor.
Dean,
I'm going to tie in with Portland.
if you're looking for places to moor, there's plenty of public spaces down there, the launching area.
Oh yeah, no, he showed us some beautiful spots. I'm also the second thing, and I'll get out of here. The second thing that I would like to talk to you about, and I don't know if it can be done, but I've had trouble with theft here. These 9.9 horsepower outboards grow legs. I lost 3 Husqvarna chainsaws in the sheds over here. I didn't turn in a claim because, you know, I mean, once somebody's in those sheds, you know, it's the first thing I wanted to say, and I forgot to say, is thank you guys for all the maintenance you've done. I know what it takes to maintain something like this. It's amazing what you've done. They've got the same setup in Newport. I wouldn't go into their bathrooms for on a bed. This is absolutely amazing. Jason is my neighbor, and Chris and the other guy and you guys. It's really quite remarkable how pretty this harbor is and the job you've done. I would like to try to rent for $200 a month, and I mentioned it to Kelly and to your harbor master Dave. I really would like you to consider. I don't know. Someone has leased the old rummage sale building there. I would really love to rent the dirt. I've got on the back of one of these things. I'd like to rent that dirt lot
Dean,
for our boats, for just boats on trailers.
this is something that you
And
can
we,
deal with Dave.
I've told Dean that we've already leased that, and it wouldn't be up to this board or this board
Right.
to make that decision for the tenant that has that.
Not something you can address.
Yeah, it's not that we can address.
Right, but
It's already
you know,
leased.
Yeah, I understand, but if the person leasing it wants to save
Sublease
$200 a
it.
month, but Dave said, well, they can't sublease this and that and the other thing. That's why, one of the things I wanted to bring up to you
That's out
guys.
of our jurisdiction, that's a call that Dave can make, and then it sounds like to me you need to go negotiate with the tenant of that.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted. Anyway, thank you guys so much.
Good luck.
Well, no, it's gonna happen. I ran into these, Coast Guard Reserve guys. Well, they have never been our favorite guys. And they-
No, that's not the bad mouth.
Well-
It's not a form of bad mouth other groups.
No, I'm just saying
Well, no,
that
you
this is
did.
it's not a military, it's not a pipeline into the military, it's strictly for the scouts. It's for young people to have something to do. We've planned on just sailing back and forth in one place, right in front of the restaurant, because Ramiro Ramirez rents this end. I've never even looked at his apartment. He'll be there forever. And the building is going to be given to the Sea Scouts forever. So everybody said, well, they've tried to have Sea Scout ships in Florence before and they've crumbled this, that. Well, they haven't run into me in Betty, we're gonna,
Good luck.
Make it happen.
Thank you, Dean.
Good luck.
okay, well, thank you guys very
Appreciate the
much.
present.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda will be to appoint budget committee members. Dave, do we have any applicants?
Yeah, we've got, 3 applicants, and the applications there was 4 positions
hey.
available. There's only been
These are-
3.
These are adult applications, if anybody wants to be an adult.
Thank you.
If a girl is on the ship, there has to be a man and a woman around at all times.
Understood.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks.
Kelly.
Thank you.
So we've got,
I'm a little confused. This says Boy Scouts of America on the bottom.
We could deal with that another time.
Sea Scouts
That's right.
are, the Boy Scouts of America are the umbrella organization over the Sea Scouts.
That's what I thought.
And when I Googled Florence, Oregon, Sea Scouts and Boy Scouts of America, right now it's dark. There's no record of any activity. But that's why I asked him the question.
basically, you know, the only comparison I have to go by is like the Coast Guard Auxiliary. We allow the Coast Guard Auxiliary to come down here, they use the boat launch, we let them park in the parking lot for free while they're here, they go do their maneuvers out in the river. The only part of our facility they ever use is the transient dock. So
Right, and they pull in and pull out and they leave. Yeah.
it sounds like with the Sea Scouts, they would be inside our facility teaching people to maneuver boats in and out of dock.
I think what they're trying to do is find a place to moor them all the time.
Well, until we have something concrete.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
nothing concrete in that presentation
No.
for us to even consider, so. And not that I appreciate it. I think it's
Yeah,
a
I don't
great
think
A
idea.
lot of enthusiasm.
But I
for
think
sure.
that something a little bit later with some kind of a written proposal and some
Mhm.
specifics would be real beneficial to us. I mean, anything that, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool idea for for young people,
Yeah.
kids. I mean, it's great, but we just need something a little bit. We got our feet wet now, so. we'll
You
see
got
what-
the history now.
Yeah, we'll see what,
we're definitely gonna
see what the
keep it.
next step is.
Okay, let's move on again to number 7, budget committee.
So we had 4 positions available. We've only had 3 applicants apply. I suggest we approve these 3 applicants and then put it out again and try and get a 4th applicant.
Yeah, I think we
What
should.
does this do to us in terms of the quorum? With these 3 applicants, we have enough to
Oh, yeah,
act?
yeah. Last year we were down.
I think we're only got down to one right
Yeah, I
now.
think so.
And that would be,
Yeah, it would be.
can't remember his name.
Keith,
Gosh darn
Keith Stanton.
Keith Stanton.
I was
Keith-
thinking,
Keith is the only member
Left.
that is actually on the budget committee.
what's our diver's name?
Brian.
Brian
Um,
Mills.
he,
Didn't apply.
he was gonna fill out his application, and there may be a conflict with some work that potentially they may do for the port, the company that he works for.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
He just has to declare it. If it is, he can still act, he
Yeah.
just has to declare it. I
Um,
wonder if he understands that. But that's all right.
We
He's
have,
been a
Already-
very valuable asset.
oh, I know, we haven't had
Yeah,
a chance
I
to
think
talk
so,
to
too.
him.
Oh, yeah, Brian's a
Since
good
he
hand.
just turned that in here last week, and that was written on it that he's declining to apply again because,
Let's talk to him about it, David.
okay.
Yeah, because any decisions on the future will be made by the Port Commission.
Right. He has no direct bearing on that.
Yeah, and even if there is a conflict, there's a procedure for
Sure.
declaring
There
it
is.
and
It's-
stepping aside. It's not a big deal.
We know that
Not all
well.
the time. Yeah, you guys know.
That being said, we have 3 very well qualified applicants here.
Well, let's not go overboard. I don't wanna, never mind. Yeah, that's.
I move that we
Yes.
accept these applications and we
Motions.
appoint these 3.
Motion's been made
I'll second that.
and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. We have
Thank you, guys.
Katie Prosser, Bill Hennig, is that, you go by Bill,
Right.
and John Murphy.
Yep.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, I know all 3 of them. They're gonna be good. Katie's really good. Sharp lady.
Moving on.
It's a good deal. Congratulations.
Continued discussions on blue storage buildings.
So I'm gonna kind of throw this all into one with the C-Row and the blue buildings. I just wanted to continue the discussion on the blue buildings to keep it in our mind, because I plan on trying to budget for this. We did get some numbers back from the city, and if you turn to the very back
See
of
that
this
one yet?
9,
So much did it came out with this, huh?
yeah, I did, I just put it in there today. And it shows the development cost for both of these projects that we plan on working on. And I was,
Excuse me, just a second. Is this just for C-Row or for both
that's
of them?
both. You'll see the first one is for C-Row and the second one is for the blue buildings. And the last, right there,
Okay.
the very last page. Those are the development costs for the
34,915.
water, sewer, which I think, Terry, you were probably aware of that, and Bill was aware of that.
The SDCs.
Well, we asked about that last commission meeting.
Yeah.
Initially, the numbers that they gave me were staggering. Initially, it was gonna be around $130,000 in fees to do both of those projects. Since then, they've made some adjustments for us, and so the actual prices are there now.
What you're looking at now?
We're looking
No, I
at
understand.
$69,000? Is that what we're looking
Yeah.
at? 70
That's what
grand?
it would have been, but now it's.
No,
it's-
that's.
35.
Now
No,
they're
that's what
asking-
we're looking at now. We would have been 130.
Mhm.
Yeah, correct.
Well, that sheds a whole different light on
Well,
moving too fast forward with that.
Well.
but we're looking
yeah,
at 35,071, right?
No, it looks, we're looking at
That's
70,000.
for C-Row.
Well, you gotta add both those together.
That's just
Yeah.
for C-Row,
Got it. And then the blue building one is this one.
yes.
Why do they want so much money for doing nothing? Just hooking up to something?
Well,
Is anybody here from the city?
it's,
We have the
Don't pick
city,
on anybody.
it's,
city council, please
Don't
stand
pick
up.
on, don't even answer, Geraldine.
it's,
That is ridiculous. For doing nothing.
No.
And we're doing all the work.
You're providing the infrastructure that we can hook up to that somebody else has already paid for, so we've gotta,
potentially, the city could have costs, with usage.
You gotta show
for
us
their
that,
sewer
though.
plant and upgrade, I mean, they.
But everything's coming into this lift station right here.
Yep. that's
So
correct.
David,
We're already paying for the power on it.
out of curiosity, what created the break?
They potentially on our EDU, where they had us at 0.4, and that's your equivalent dwelling
Right.
unit.
Yeah.
They made that 0.2 for us. That's the adjustment that they made
So they cut that EDU in
in
half.
half. Yep.
What is the standard home in the city of Florence now for an ED?
That's what I was gonna ask.
I'm not sure.
Cause they usually go off of how many bathrooms you have now.
Probably a 0.3.
Yeah.
well, I know I paid $14,000 for my little project for the SD. But I knew that going in. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying those are
But would that be for, is that just for the sewer and that type of thing, or is it for the road and the sidewalks and all that? as
Well, I'm paying for the sidewalks
Yeah.
and the curbs, another 25 grand that I had to pay on top of that.
But you probably have some more infrastructure than we're involved in, maybe.
3 bathrooms and so.
See, every bathroom is charged different.
But it is what it is, but,
Yeah, I know.
I
but. we-
still don't think that that puts it out of line.
Oh, no,
for us to
as
do
far as
this
I'm
project.
concerned, it doesn't. If we can get to talking about the payback and what the return is.
And-
Basically, we need to add the 35,000 to the 50,000.
Yeah.
Exactly.
70,000, well, for zero,
Yeah, for
That's
Just
zero.
zero.
that's
Just zero,
That's
yeah.
just for zero.
Zero.
Now, when you say 34 for the blue buildings, is that for both blue buildings?
Yes, that's for that whole area.
18 sites,
that's all their
16
sites.
sites, yeah.
16. yeah.
16.
Yep.
Okay.
And so you'll see the first page where I wanted to get some actual numbers together for you for the zero. With the Central Lincoln PUD, we found out that it would not be an upgrade. We'll actually have to put in a new transformer and able to utilize zero to bring actual power to zero. There's not enough capabilities that's coming off the transformer that we have right now. So we actually are not able to upgrade that transformer to bring power to zero. We'd actually have to put in a new transformer. And at that point, then we would put in a new station and we would run B and zero. If you look at the map on the next page, the campground map, we would actually run B and zero off of that one transformer and a new station. And that would leave us to upgrade the rest of
We
the
would have,
rest, the rest of the transformers when it
we'd
comes
have
to
enough
that.
power when we do the blue buildings, we do the blue buildings, wouldn't have to do it again.
Go to the next page after the map.
Because if you're gonna do that, you might as well do it all at once.
These are the transformers that we have in the park right now. There's 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4. Right now, number 4, that would be station 4.
And then we roll out,
Runs 63 through 72 plus the complete B row.
Okay,
We
got
don't have the capacity
To
with
run
that
C.
transformer now to run C row.
Right.
So what we're gonna have to do is put another transformer in where I'm calling number 5,
Five,
which follow
okay,
the
got
orange line.
Yep.
And another station there, and the station is, basically where you have your,
right,
power,
meter, right.
power meter and all your fuses and stuff.
Right.
And so at that point, it would run the C row and the B row, that station. Station 4 would leave us
Enough power,
enough power to continue to run 63 through 72 and potentially a shop back there
okay.
or a few more campsites
Right.
in the back there, but there's no way without putting in a new transformer, we could bring power to zero.
What does that cost us?
It's gonna be $13,000.
That's included in your 50?
Yeah, that's included in there.
Okay, now, number 2, now, if we're gonna do all this, are these storage
all-
buildings included in this?
No, that's just for this one transformer. I'm just giving you the proposal for for zero at this time.
Right, well, we gotta go out there to zero to get, we gotta go buy the storage unit to get there.
Yeah.
Well, isn't number 2 feeding the blue buildings?
Yeah, number 2 is right now.
Would that be enough power adequate to feed the 16 sites?
Potentially, we're gonna have to upgrade though. I think that number 2 is only a 200 amp.
That's not very much there for 16 sites.
Ballpark on upgrading another,
Ballpark on upgrading, because we'd have some value to these transformers that we have right now.
okay.
And this is $3,000 to $4,000 each, and that's a ballpark.
Okay.
I wasn't quoted that, he kind of suggested that to me, but
Okay.
On your proposal here for C-row only, this is us doing all the work. except-
that's us doing the trenching. PUD comes in and does their portion, that's that 475-foot section right there. and the
Including
tran-
conduit and all.
and the transformer. At that point,
We have to dig the ditch and put the conduit.
we
in
have to dig the ditch and put the conduit
For
in.
PUD.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't do anything.
yep.
They just put their wire into.
So that's over and above this cost?
And then no, that's included in that cost.
Oh, you do have it included?
And
The
then,
trenching and conduit?
at that point, the electrician would come in.
Pull the wire?
He would put in the new station, pull the wire, hook the wire up to the campsites, and I think he'd probably put in 4 junction boxes, underground junction boxes along the way through there, and hook up B-row also to that new station at that time.
So they'd have the power.
Mhm.
So we got rid of the power. Now the water can go in the same trench?
I don't believe that the water can go in the same.
They used to.
Do you know, Terry? I don't think.
Yeah, you can.
But it's gotta be separated.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just separate
I
your,
think we gotta get to a depth of 4 foot for the wire.
yeah, your wire goes on the
Yeah.
bottom, then you have to make sure it's deep enough that you can put your
Yeah.
sewer and your water in the same ditch and separation.
So that's, and then the next thing is the sewer, where we're gonna run the sewer, we're gonna run full service sewer out there.
So potentially, this was the cost that we had come up with before the city fees, and it was between $49,000 and $52,000 to
Mhm.
do that project. Now, if you include the fees from the city, that's gonna be the page behind your maps.
Mhm.
We're looking at a total cost for that project to do C-row, to make it full service, $87,000.
And that's just for power.
No, that's for everything, that's
That's
for
fully
sewer,
developed.
water, power, everything.
Where's the sewer? I don't see the sewer on the map though.
You're not seeing the sewer on the map, I'm just giving you, it's gonna,
Okay, where are we gonna run
I'm
in?
just giving you the cost breakdown on what the sewer is gonna cost. On your first
I
page.
see the sewer right there. And that's
Oh, you
one,
mean from the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, their cost, yeah, it's in there.
$16,092 for, that's $1,000 a lot, for 16 of them. And they're not even using it. They're not using it 12 months out of the year.
And that's where they figure in the EDUs.
That's where we got the break.
That's where we've got-
.32.
We got,
Well, they cut
we got the hoop
it
break
in
now.
half.
Well, it should be less than that though.
Now the big question is, it's not, we just have to budget it. Come
If-
July, right?
If we don't do a supplemental budget and do it this year, yeah.
Yeah,
No, we do whatever we want to do.
well, I don't, we're leaving thousands of dollars sitting on the ground if we don't. I mean, if you look at, the spreadsheet here that, on the returns, if we look at a full year calculation, let's, on the C-roll full service, the improvements, including the SDC, is 87,000. And this 189 days, that's our best guess for a full service hookup. That's our typical.
189 days, that's our 53% occupancy rate for full service.
So,
That's 189 days.
yeah, so the predicted income, yearly income on that full service is 129,276, and the return on investment is you pay back in 1.31 years for the investment of $87,000. Now, if I'm a personal owner of property and I can get a payback in 1.31 years, I'm gonna jump on that as quick as I can. I mean, our fiduciary responsibility is to maximize the income and not leave dollars out there if it's at all possible. And I know, Mike, you don't like the idea of a supplementary, but the rules allow it, and what we have to do is we have to say, is it worth the extra time and effort that it takes to put one together? And can we logistically put it together in time to, David, we talked about this, you'd like to do it before the big season, right? Before June?
I would like to, but there's no guarantee that, I mean, we have to put out an RFP, there's a lot of stuff that we'd have to get on right away.
And we'd have to have the funding, which would require a supplemental.
You know, we're just talking about zero.
What's your RFP for?
Well, we
Right,
just,
for bid, you
we
gotta
just
go out for
can't
bid.
give this to
Right.
an electrician, or we just can't,
These are
we
just
have to
quotes.
make it fair and put it out to the public, so more than just who we've got this quote from can bid on this project.
But the yearly delta between keeping it dry like it is now and a full service, it's $91,000 a year based on our occupancy experience and our current prices for dry camp. So that's about $8,000 a month difference so we're leaving $8,000 a month on the table for every month we don't have the improvement in, and I don't see it any other way. Unless somebody can explain to me why. And I also understand these figures, once we increase the number of units, our occupancy rate could conceivably go down.
Well,
diluted.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
entirely
mean,
possible.
right now, our summer season, we're booked. I mean,
Yeah.
we got people calling still, we don't have enough
Yeah.
space.
But we are gonna add more, and so that, but even if the occupancy rate was 20 or 30% less than your 189 days,
Yeah,
your payback is still gonna be probably within 2 years of, if we get the improvement in. I mean, the numbers don't seem to lie to me, that's what it,
The only thing I have a problem with, we're still only talking about the 13. We're worried about
We're-
zero right now.
yeah. And then, well, we got the
And
blue
there's-
building right below here.
Well, yeah.
I think it's probably too late in the season to consider, well, we still have that kind of money anyway.
Well,
Consider, come budget time, we can budget it.
I think it's gonna take you a couple of months, even, request for bid takes, what, 30 days minimum?
not necessarily.
I don't know about that, usually it does for a public utilities, but,
Couple weeks.
okay.
Well,
It'd be nice to have it all done, because you could jack that whole thing up. I don't know what'd you base the rate on right there, no, 13.
$38.
And see, they'll be
That's-
worth 45 anyhow.
That's what, well, we can't change our rate of what we charge for waterfront full hookup sites. You guys would have to decide to raise the
I
rate.
understand that, but 38, we could go to 45, and that, it wouldn't take us long at all to recoup that price. But I don't know if we can get that done this year, do you think? I don't know.
Boy, I'm thinking that we
I
might,
mean, that's not that hard of a trenching job. I mean, the sad part is, everything looks really good right now. You have to tear everything apart again. It's gonna be a construction zone.
In terms of our discussion here, let's go ahead and dive into the blue building too, and look at the bottom line for both projects, And I know, David, the Business Oregon has talked to us about a loan
Possible
on,
loan, yeah.
and, I ran some calculations today. If we did a 5-year loan and we did 6% interest on a 5-year loan, and we could probably do better than that, it's $24,000 for every $100,000 we borrow, $24,000 a year. So it would be about $58,000 a year to repay a 5-year loan at 6%, advertised over 5 years. And our net increase in income, the most optimistic net, is an additional income of $250,000 a year. I mean, to not take this serious and not and also not to move is, we don't want to move so fast that we do it wrong, but I mean, we're leaving a lot of dollars that this community could be putting back into this port budget by not acting as expeditiously as we can within the budgetary laws and within, I know we're gonna have to submit plans and get, we're gonna have to get the approval through the planning, the building, because we're gonna have to have permits to put the line in, and I don't know how fast they can act. I know if you're actually doing a structure, it can be months. It was months for me to get my final approval on my project, but I don't think connecting power and water. But look at that bottom line. If we did both of them, even the blue building has a payback of 2.33 years. And again, if we bit the bullet and say this return on our investment is, we're looking at $250,000 a year, and let's discount that by 20% and say our return is $200,000 a year, and it costs us $55,000 a year to go out and get a 5-year loan that we pay off. At the end of that 5-year loan, we've got our infrastructure in, and we've got additional revenue that we can look out to make additional improvements on it. I mean, I think we need to be serious about it.
Well, I think we gotta be totally serious about it, you know, and I don't have a problem with doing a zero right now. The blue building is gonna take some time.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we all know that.
I agree.
But if we're gonna do the zero, we might as well get the power done, so it's all done at one time.
Yeah.
Well, it would be, the only thing we'd have to do would be to upgrade the transformer.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do the transformer upgrade right there and make sure we don't have to do that again, and then we'll have to do the trenching and everything once the blue buildings are done.
But like any project, if you're gonna decide on the project, you have to make sure you got the revenue stream over here to make sure you can get the project
I
done.
understand that.
And that's why I'm mentioning, I would be in favor, if these numbers don't lie, and I don't think they do, of securing, beginning securing funding for this whole project now, so that when we do the blue building, we have the funds to do that part of it. Granted, it's gonna take longer than to get the zero in. But we need those resources there to make sure that we can move this.
But we wanna try to get the zero done and then do the budgeting or whatever for the rest of it. Is that what we're
If we
looking at?
can work it.
Well, the only way we're gonna get the zero done is the supplementary budget. And that's up to our chief financial officer.
Right.
No, it's not. Like, I'm very clear, gentlemen, that I am not in favor of a supplemental budget. I am sick of over, under, estimate, all this stuff. I'm sick of it. This is middle of March.
Okay.
Our fiscal year ends June 30. We can have everything in place and ready to go July 1st. That's how I look at it. I agree with everything you say except for the supplemental budget. Pure and simple. I'm not, and you know what, to me, it's not, there's no argument, there's no nothing. I just don't wanna do it. We have other projects, other issues as well that we haven't addressed. We've got dredging that we haven't
the
addressed.
dredging,
We've got stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not prepared to make a decision on going to a supplemental budget tonight. I hear the numbers, I've read the numbers, but I've also looked at the budget, looked at the financial statements. There's numbers that are up and down. Some of it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's how I feel about it.
But zeroing in on what we're looking at here on the zero and the blue building,
The rates
This is
return
this is a
would-
fairly,
Sure.
fairly simple, straightforward
Right.
calculate, and it's based on assumptions that could
Yes.
vary. My problem is, I haven't been through the ups and downs you're talking about on the supplementary budget. Years ago, in another life, in another place, we did supplementary budgets, and it never caused any heartburn. And I don't know why it would cause heartburn here, if in fact, let's say, Business Oregon says, you know, guys, you're looking at a heck of a project here, and we can see where you can pay back that loan. We're willing to give you a loan, and we can have it in place in 3 weeks.
Well, that's cool, it's just that, I mean, this is getting late on us tonight. I am not prepared
Oh,
to make a
no.
decision
Oh, no,
based on
I
something
don't,
like
I don't want,
that.
no, I'm not
Absolutely
asking, I'm not about to make a motion, I'm not.
We aren't gonna be able to do this
I
before
just
this
wanna
fall
find
anyhow, 'cause
out,
everything's tied up.
I'm looking for a consensus. Does this make sense to move forward and move forward as expeditiously as we can? But I threw in the structure of and I know people don't like to do loans, but there are times when a loan is absolutely appropriate when you can make a capital improvement that has the kind of payback that this has. So I'm just looking for a sense of the commission, because David has got to know, hey, do I start making phone calls tomorrow to Business Oregon to see if we can put some financing together that we can bring to us at a subsequent meeting? Or does everybody say, Bill, we don't like that idea, we don't want to go into debt, we don't want to go into debt to do this?
Well-
That's a fundamental question.
Bill, can I just put one thing in there? We gotta have a new budget, what, July 1st? There's gonna be a new committee, all we gotta do is put that in front of them, because it's not gonna get done between now and July anyhow.
I know it, but.
And if we're all in consensus with this, I think it's smart to go ahead with this thing, as long as we have a budget in there with the budget committee coming in. And I
Right
think
now,
what Dave,
Ciro's has income, potential for income as a
right,
drive.
C-Ro's gonna make income, I think, for the rest of the year.
Well,
And we aren't gonna be able to do it until next year, because we don't wanna tear that whole thing up when it's coming into summertime anyhow.
Well,
Because
yeah,
we
I'm
won't
not
be able to
ready
do
to
that.
die on the hill of getting it done in May.
No.
But I definitely,
The way things are done around here, I don't think you'll get it done in May.
well, but my question is, do we want to do it, and do we want to do the whole thing, and do we want to see if we can line up financing to get the whole thing done based
Well,
on what
that's
we're
what I'm
looking at?
saying, I mean, we need a budget, say if we have a budget for that, we know what the budget is for that. The budget, tear down the blue buildings and everything, and then we put it into a budget committee or whatever
Okay.
after July.
I can live with that.
So what did
We need some
But
budget.
also, we got a shop we gotta
Yeah,
replace too,
yeah,
which
what
is
we
a
decide
whole
to do with
nother
that?
$50,000 or $80,000.
I
Yeah.
don't see it anywhere on here. Is it in
See-
it's in this budget somewhere?
No, but Craig, that's what I'm saying, we need a budget for all that stuff before
I
you.
mean, we talked about that like 2 meetings ago. We talked
Yeah.
about leaving part of the blue building for maintenance shop, and then we talked
Okay.
about moving it over here, and
And that's
I don't see it anywhere
And
now.
that's an excellent point, so.
I came to you with the Ciro and just to continue the conversation with the blue buildings, and
Okay.
so I don't have anything together for a shop.
He was making sure we could make the sale to Terry and his beloved blue buildings, but I.
Oh, I'm on board, I see the potential.
No, I think
There
we're
is
all on board on that.
Too. there's no issues
Okay.
with getting it
Okay.
done.
You're getting rid of that.
I've been
Great.
with it for a
But-
long time.
It's just not gonna be
But-
done before July.
No, and you're absolutely correct, we need to see,
No.
we need to budget.
No, we
in
got-
the
we
shop.
gotta have
Replace
everything
that
on a
sh-
budget.
That shop, you know, David, it's gonna be all you, in my opinion, it's gonna be all you can do to get this put together
Yeah.
for a budget to cover all those bases. I mean, that's a big chore in itself alone.
I think you're right, and just getting what.
Well, you started a great start right here.
Just
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
what
it's
we got
really
that took
perfect.
us a month to get is, I can honestly see where it's gonna be all we can do to get numbers for you guys come budget time.
We'll be ready for it.
Yeah.
Good.
No,
But
but
you'll build it in the document.
Yeah,
That being said, though, do we need to put money in the budget this year for the dredging?
With this next
Well,
coming year.
we're gonna have to set up a work session here and really talk about that, because with this permit, it's something that it's gonna take about 6 months to go through this process with this permit. I should be working on it right now.
The dredging
dredging?
permit, is that what you're referring to?
And we're gonna get it for another 10 years?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so other than being swamped out, I mean, mudded out.
I
we can
kinda
put
don't
it
wanna
out.
wait till July to continue with the dredging and be right there at the end come November, wondering if that permit's gonna come through. I'd like to be working on it right now.
To know we have a permit in hand.
Mhm.
Be nice to know we had a permit in hand come budget committee time.
Yeah.
Well, that all said, he done a great job on C-roll. I think, I think I have a great, he's got a great aspect on that. All we need to know now is what it's gonna cost. I don't care what it, it's $1 to take down the blue buildings or whatever. Come your budget committee, Dave, I don't think we're gonna be able to get it done before this season.
Yeah.
Do you think we can? I
would-
personally do
I
not
would-
think it'll happen.
I would like to think that we could, but probably not.
Well, let's keep it as a goal, let's not give up on it.
Oh, no, I mean, heck, a hell of a goal.
Dave, I have a question. Oh, we have C-Row, which is dry, and we have other dry spaces. Are they same priced or?
Yeah, yeah, we get, for all of our dry camping spots, we get $27.70 a night.
That zero needs to be higher, that
Yeah.
is, so that is a
Yeah.
premium spot, that is just
I
beautiful.
was thinking about buying 13, but I don't think it's for sale.
The end one?
So, would it take a presentation to the commission to adjust? See, I think zero there ought to be a delta between the dry camp and a dry camp on zero. Because you're talking about oceanfront property, and you talk about some of those in ones, where you got a view clear up the river on the left, and, I mean, it doesn't get any better than
Well,
that.
Kelly and I thought there was there was something that says we're supposed to be raising 4% a year, wasn't there?
Yeah, but that
And-
still
and
doesn't
we-
answer the delta between.
But that's up to the commission in order to,
Okay, I would like to.
We
I
can
would like
certainly
to-
review the rates on everything,
Yeah.
at any time.
I'd like to review them, maybe next meeting.
Sure.
okay.
Okay, so.
Okay,
Well,
so
now
one
there's
more,
another
I
one
wanna
more.
be, I wanna be careful not to overload,
I agree.
because we got, I mean, I'm headed in the same direction you
Yeah.
are, but, you know, I just believe Dave's got his hands full with this project we're discussing, but I mean, every bit as important, and possibly more importantly, the dredge permit.
Yeah, I agree.
That permit, yeah, because we need that. You know better than the rest of us, we need that.
Did you ever get any feedback from the community dredge down south?
It sounds like that it's ours next year.
Good.
We get this permit done.
In the budget?
Okay. Well, now, do you think we can actually get this done with the people around here by July? Is zero?
Well, I have 2 electricians right now that are wanting to do it. I just gotta make it available to more than just the 2 with an RFP.
Well, I think you have 3.
Well, there's a clause, remember we talked to our attorney about that we feel that they're more qualified.
Yeah.
Although I think it would behoove us to get 3 quotes.
And if we can't get, if 3 of them don't, if we don't get 3 RFPs back,
Right. Take what you get. What's your point, Craig? Do you think we could?
Well, I'm thinking that Dave really wants to try to get zero done this year.
I'm gonna raise my hand on that too.
Yeah.
But it's gotta be,
I mean, we
gotta
can
have
help them the best we can and everything.
well,
I
and
mean,
we
as
gotta have
far
a
as next week
commission
and everything, I
approval.
mean.
I just don't wanna give off on it yet, but I understand Mike's heartburn on that, and, and I'm not gonna die on either hill. I just wanna move ahead, because I think it's,
Well, I'm not either. I mean,
The
I'm
biggest
gonna-
part about the whole thing is how long do we have to, before we have to pay the city? 10 years?
no,
Do they finance?
Yeah.
they actually will. They will let us
I
pay their
figured they
fees
would.
in installments.
Yeah.
They
It's
work.
$35,000,
But PUD wants us to.
Yeah,
Oh,
PUD,
yeah.
but,
Yeah. I
but
had
the
to
city,
put a
the
power
city
pole
will
in it. They wanted
definitely
that
work
front.
with us on their fees.
My question, I mean, if Dave thinks we can do that, we can generate that much more income, I'd like to try to get it done.
I'd like to generate income, yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
there's no way you can pull money out of any other, Mike.
I think we have about 60,000 in contingency, but how does that work, Mike?
Well, that's not a supplemental budget, it's just, we need to, we just have, I think that we need to look at the finances and see where we're at. I can't speak to that, I can't do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we just need to see where we're at in the categories, see what we have left, see what you can postpone, if you wanna do it internally, okay?
Okay.
And we
But I'm
also-
more concerned with the work you gotta do to get all this prepared. And like you said, what should you be working on right now?
Well, and then I just.
Permit.
And
how-
then Jason is, I'm gonna be without, my maintenance leave for who knows how long now. He just went in for hernia surgery today, so he'll be on light duty now 6 to 8 weeks.
So that'll all be factored in. And we also don't know about the bureaucracy. We don't know how quick we could actually get permits
Mhm.
to do it. Now, on the RFP, we have to leave it out there for
I don't know the exact time limit. I would have thought that it was a couple weeks.
but all this is gonna introduce delays, so
There
realistically.
might be a monetary value that you stay under, it's not gonna be over 50.
Yeah.
It used
might
to be
be able to do it.
35,000, under 35,000, you do it in-house or whatever.
You can do it, 3 phone quotes, I'm not sure of that number, if there is a number there.
And I have that number. I just can't think if it's
Used to be
30 or
the county stuff and
50,000
everything.
right now.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it for me.
So what are we gonna do, table that one for a while, I guess?
Well, there's
Are you
no
happy with
action
that, Mike?
item that we
We're just
need.
gonna table it?
Well, we'll come back to it next month,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously, but, yeah, I mean.
But it sounds like
There's no
Every
question. I
month we
think
put
everybody-
this off, all of a sudden you're done.
Yeah.
I think everybody's in agreement that this is what we wanna do and where we wanna go.
Perfect. That's all we can do
My
at
thought
this
is, I
point.
just want I wanna put together and throw it in the budget and start it. And in the meantime, you can begin the paper process.
Well, I think also at the time you come to the budget committee, you better have, be a good idea to have a proposal for a work maintenance shed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that needs to be bundled in. It needs to be part of the overall project.
First of all, you gotta have the maintenance shed in there, you gotta have what it costs to tear down the buildings and
Oh, he
everything.
had
the
that in
infrastructure.
there already.
Not in this one yet.
Oh, yeah, on the blue building quote. It's in
Not
there.
in the C-road.
Not in the C-road.
It was
Well,
like
no, it's in the
20 to
blue building.
25,000.
But in that blue building
Okay.
spreadsheet calculation, it's in there.
Oh,
It's calculated our lost income and the $24,000
Yeah.
a year
So-
and the.
So it accounts for
okay, so
both.
we need to get in at least this maintenance shed.
And that's, I know we had talked about possibly keeping part of one of those blue buildings.
I don't think we wanna do
No.
it.
I think we can nix that idea.
Yeah, let's find a good spot for it. Yeah.
Well, we'll have.
Although
it-
you could rebuild something there that's more pleasing to look at.
Yeah, well, when we upgrade the, transformers, that'll leave us another 200 amp site out at the
Yeah,
end,
see-
end of the property.
See up here where it
Yeah,
says
no.
6 sites on that back one right there, isn't that where we were
Yeah,
thinking about
and
putting
then,
the?
and then once we upgrade that number 3 transformer, then that'll
Right.
leave us enough power to leave us a 200 amp site, and then we could possibly put 6 more. We'd have enough power to rent 6 more full-service sites out there,
Right.
potentially if we wanted.
But see, out there is where the maintenance shed will be, because that's out of the flood lane up there.
What did we ever do with the commercial storage? Did you come to the assumption that you have commercial storage for whoever, or do you have to have commercial mortgage to have commercial storage?
It's specifically for commercial fishing gear, is the way that it's worded, right?
It doesn't say anything about having to have mortgage, but is specific about what type of stuff you can put out there.
Well, there's nothing out there now that could even fit, it's garbage. I mean, it's just, there's just a lot of junk.
Dave.
I mean, what, is that something we need to look at too, is putting,
We could potentially, yeah,
If it's a problem, let's look at it.
we
Put
could,
RV sites there.
or a
I
nice,
can.
or a nice shop, maintenance shop.
You could do that too.
that was my point,
Yeah.
can we put something
Yeah. Oh,
over
yeah.
there?
Yeah, and that's why we leave the 200 amp site back there where potentially we could put in a shop or another restroom and shower, which at some point we probably really need. So we'll have utilities back there now after we upgrade our transformer, at least.
Cause everything behind there is still where we gotta put all our dredging stuff, that is
Yeah, the
designated
dredge
dredging.
spoils.
When we put in this facility over here, how much did that cost us,
Which one?
the bathroom facility?
It was like $200,000. I mean,
That's
I could be wrong, but it was
Before my time, I don't know.
something
how much
like
was.
that. Yeah.
For any of our time.
Well, I mean, we need to do something
Yeah, we
back there.
do.
I saw it not
I know,
too
but
long
not
ago.
tonight, we're not gonna
really
do
think
it.
it
We got a
was
C road that we're
200.
dealing with.
Well, we can add
Shop
this in
and-
with it.
So we can just, Dave, you add whatever you want into the budget, I
Yeah.
don't care. You find the money.
Okay, that being said, Dave, do you have any other reports?
Me and Kelly attended our budget law class here about a week and a half ago, and that was pretty interesting. Went to the city council meeting on Monday, and that was pretty interesting too. Also, I got an email back from Wendy, and this is gonna interest you, Terry. Wendy from the city, she said that they actually, their archivist has found the boat launch dedication to the port, and that she's gonna get the resolution and the minutes and send all that over to us, and so I'm sure we'll know a lot more about that at that time. Because I know it's probably been a couple of years ago, or it's been the last couple of years we've been questioning that. I know you've brought it up several times, and I think Jeff has brought it up too, so I'll have some information for you on that soon, hopefully.
That's whether or not we can charge for boat launching.
Right.
It's my opinion that the city donated that to us as long as we don't charge people to use it, is my opinion. So we're gonna wait for Wendy's.
Sounds like we're gonna find out some paperwork.
It will no longer be your opinion, right?
I could be right or wrong, but I'm gonna stand behind it. So,
Okay, did we ever figure out what they were gonna do with about the storage buildings out there by our commercial property?
What was it, the
It's somebody
decision,
took-
Farnsworth question?
Farnsworth, yeah, they were going to the city
Geraldine,
hall.
it was
They
approved.
It was approved.
It was approved?
They
Yeah.
approved the zoning change,
Wow,
So
not
there
the
you go.
storage shed yet.
let's do some zoning changes.
Yeah,
But our.
see, we gotta get hold of Andy and tell
And see if we
him.
can get some zoning changes.
Yeah.
Because that was, remember, you and I specifically discussed that.
Yeah.
And we were told, nix, don't even think about it, that LCDC at the state level
I
was
know,
not.
but remember I had that article in the paper.
Yeah, and then suddenly LCDC's apparently not gonna say anything. That, yeah,
So that piece of property is marketable as storage.
yeah.
Well, there's,
If we can
that,
just,
that property is, ours is not.
well,
I know.
But theirs is right next to it.
it takes a zoning change.
But it's different, it's zoned different.
That's right.
So, yeah. but
And
that's
so
what
was
they-
the
So
same.
was theirs.
They,
So is
they,
there.
they brought that out of the Pacific View zoning into, I can't remember what.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
could
we
do
could
the
do the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Now,
We do the same thing. Yeah.
there's a good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Here you go.
You never know what goes on down there.
Yeah, because I mean, cause nobody even read it in the paper. I was the only one that brought it up. I go, what is
Thank
this?
you.
Yeah.
What did we ever find out about the property, the Dahlbeck piece up there?
Oh,
I talked to the attorney, matter of fact, about that today. And What I'm gonna suggest that we do is make that property, public surplus.
Let them have it back.
Well, I think that's, since it's a property issue, we should probably discuss that in an executive.
What's that?
Since it's gonna be a property transaction, possibly, we need to discuss that
We do.
in the executive session.
Good point.
Yep.
I've got a question of the commission. The Watershed Council needs a port representative. I volunteered, unless somebody else here wants to take that. I'm gonna attend their meetings once a month if I have the blessing of the commission to be the ex officio representative to the Watershed Council.
So usually the watershed commissioner you
Yeah.
are.
With my permission.
You wanna do it here?
No,
Okay, because, yeah, I got corralled and I said, yeah, I would do it if,
Talk to
but I
Alden
wasn't sure.
Huntington.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question of you, and I'll just ask this. Were you appointed to the Florence Urban County, FURA, as a port representative?
They didn't say that specifically. I believe that I was appointed because I was a port commissioner, but they did not say that. See, Ron Caputo was on there as the port representative, and he wanted to stay on after he was no longer with the port, so he held a position. But then there was a position that was opened up, and I applied for it.
It's just curiosity.
Oh, I gave you a long answer. I don't know.
The port has basically always had a seat at that table,
Yeah.
so, and I don't think that will ever change.
But it is discretionary. I mean, because it isn't in stone, but I believe that was the case, Terry.
Commissioner reports?
None from me.
Nope. Craig?
Yeah, the only thing I'm saying is we need to get old Andy and remarket the, the property out there.
Yeah. Maybe
So we'll just
another-
add that to Dave's list.
Well,
No,
We're just gonna have to
no, no.
prioritize that list, Dave.
all we gotta do is put a
We
committee
can
together and
have
ask
we can have a
questions.
commission subcommittee and like we did before and talk to them. Yeah.
That's all we gotta do.
Yeah,
Well, I think any one of us could call him up and talk to him.
Yeah.
that's right.
You know.
Call them up. And if we need another meeting with the city, I'll take another meeting, but call them up.
We gotta make sure it's all done though, for who do I would talk to at the city?
Well,
Wendy.
yeah,
Wendy?
yeah, same one before.
No, Wendy,
The one that told you no?
Uh-huh. And now I have a little more information, Mike.
Yeah, you do. Plus an ammunition, don't you?
That being said, ready to close? Ready to close.
Thank you. Nice
Hey,
meeting you.
guys.
Good job. Well, what did the city council decide? You know?
Oh, they stayed the same.